Not for it.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Good.
What are they gonna do?
I'm glad just. Yeah. She's back and forth. I think.
Good morning. Okay, let's get going. We can, it's 8:30. I'm going, okay, flipped off mine. Okay. I'm gonna call the 39th annual meeting of members of CIDMA to order at 8:31. Now I'll call the roll. Catherine Olmsted here. Brian Smith,
Present.
Joe Long,
Here.
Barry Nicholson, AJ Frantangelo, Ashley Nevada here, Vincent Ezarelli,
Here.
Joe Carey,
Here.
Regina Wagner,
Here.
Courtney Wood, here, Allison Hunt,
Here.
Bob Roberts,
Here.
Rick Maxa,
Here.
Sean Lucasen,
Here.
Mackenzie Myers,
Here.
and Millicent Ruffin. Here. Great. There being a quorum of members present, the 39th annual meeting of the members of Corning In-Town District Management Association is duly constituted. I also wanted, I was supposed to do this right away, but we are live broadcasting for the first time this meeting on the Gaffer District's YouTube channel, and there will be a recording of the meeting. So I also want to let everyone know that at the start. Communications, there are no communications at this time to share. Okay. All members have received a copy of the minutes of the previous annual meeting held on March 13th and the regular fall meeting on October 9th, 2025. Are there any additions or modifications to those minutes? And is everyone fine with, we're gonna vote on them in one resolution? Is everyone okay with that? Great. I'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes as provided.
So moved.
Thanks, Rick.
Second.
Second, thank you, Regina. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? Next, election of officers. I will entertain nominations for the following directors' terms, which are expiring June 30th, 2026. Catherine Olmsted, commercial tenant, Joe Law, owner South Side, Regina Wagner, owner North Side, and Mackenzie Myers, owner at large, and recognize Brian Smith for the nominee.
On behalf of the nominating committee, I nominate the following for re-election to four-year terms expiring on June 30, 2030. Catherine Olmsted, commercial tenant, Joe Long, owner South Side, Regina Wagner, owner North Side, and Mackenzie Myers, owner at large.
So moved. Second.
Thank you, Sean. Are there any further nominations? Hearing none, I move the nominations be closed. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Rick. All in favor of closing nominations?
Aye.
Any opposed? All in favor of persons nominated for new directors? Yeah, we can close the nominations now, voting in favor of them.
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? No, hearing none. They've been approved. Are there any board member appointments?
The city's chief executive officer appoints Barbara Roberts for a new one-year term beginning July 1, 2026. The city's chief financial officer appoints Jennifer Miller to a one-year term beginning July 1, 2026. In addition, Corning City Council, as the legislative body, approved at its February 2, 2026 meeting, appointment of Allison Hunt for a one-year term effective July 1, 2026.
Thank you, Brian. I will entertain nominations of officers of the corporation for the next year and recognize Brian Smith for the nominating committee.
On behalf of the nominating committee, I nominate the following as officers of the corporation for one-year terms effective July 1, 2026, unless otherwise noted or until their successors are elected and qualified. President, Jen Miller. First Vice President and Secretary, Courtney Woods. Second Vice President, Ashley Nyavi. And Treasurer, Barry Nicholson, effective immediately.
Do I have a second? Thank you. Are there any further nominations? Do I have someone to make a motion to close nomination?
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
Thank you, Rick and Michelle. All in favor of closing the nominations?
Aye.
Any opposed? All in favor of the persons nominated and appointed as officers?
Aye.
Any opposed? Now, election of committees. As president, I nominate the following directors to serve on CIDMA board committees, and I'll entertain a motion for approval. Executive Committee, Jen Miller. First Vice President, Courtney Woods. Second Vice President, Ashley Nyavi. Treasurer, Barry Nicholson. Immediate past President, Rick Maxa. Nominating Committee, Jen Miller. Vinnie Azzarelli, Ashley Nyavi, Brian Smith, and Courtney Woods. Finance Committee, Barbara Roberts, Rick Maxa, Katie Olmsted, Barry Nicholson, and Joe Long. And Audit Committee, Joe Carey, AJ Francangelo, and Regina Wagner. Do I have a motion to move to accept the committee nominations as present?
So moved.
Thank you, Harp.
Second.
Brian. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Next, we're past the very scripty part. So for the president's report, before I turn it over to Catherine Price, our executive director, and to Smith, I wanted to or Nate Bosch. Okay, yeah, sorry. I wanted to just mention two things that I thought were really relevant. It's repetitive from our Gafford District Board meeting, but because this is CIDMA, a different corporation, I thought it was really important, especially for members of the public and property owners that are here. So this past last week, March 2nd, the Corning City Council did approve two resolutions on their agenda. One was to be designated for the city to seek designation as a pro-housing community. And the second one was to allow staff to move forward with submitting a downtown revitalization initiative grant once New York State opens that next round. The importance of that is, I think that these allow us to further invest in the district, allow us to seek funding from the city, but also other organizations within the city to seek additional funding and resources to improve our infrastructure, which only I think strengthens the entire city, but also specifically the Corning, like the CIDMA and the Gap district. So I am excited. There's no guarantee that we'll, we still have to submit an application for the 10 million downtown revitalization initiative. But we have been encouraged by the state to apply. So I think that is really exciting. And those funds have helped communities across the state both improve infrastructure, but also improve and help fund property owner renovations to the buildings. So that is significant. And it will also allow us to continue to go after in the future New York Main Street funds as well. It's pro-housing communities is a requirement of that program. I also wanted to share that the city of Corning has ordered new pay stations for the lots within the district, and within the next now about 8 weeks, hopefully 2 months, they should be installed. And they're used across the country. They work really well. And we're also going to a park mobile app as well. So modernizing technology to improve parking within the district. So those are the two things I wanted to use my presence report to share, as they are relevant to the district. And then I'll turn it over to Catherine and Nate. Good morning, everyone.
I'm just gonna stand up and I'm gonna come a little bit over here so Nate doesn't have to, because he's actually going to start with the presentation. Oh, are you now? Okay, that's exciting. So, because I really only have 2 slides, but I want to make sure I said hello to everyone. It's nice to meet you. Those of you that I know, thank you for coming this morning. Again, I'm Catherine Price. I'm the new executive director here at Corning Stafford District. It's been a little over 6 months and it's been wonderful. I've enjoyed working with everyone here so very much. I also wanted to take a minute before we roll into the presentation to introduce everyone in case you haven't met her, Tori. Victoria Hamilton, who is, I brought her, I put her in the hot spot today because she is taking over the props department. So you'll see her fixing windows, working on the window displays. And this way, when you see her around town, you know who she is and you can say hello.
Welcome.
So as our board knows, but maybe the general public does not know, we are looking to increase our windows program to a little bit at a time to include other businesses besides just retail. So that falls under the Gafford district, but I think it's important for everyone to know downtown businesses. Okay, well, Nate, will you start? And then when it gets to my slide, I'll jump in. Oh, my, good. Nate put it together. Okay, so what is a business improvement district? So what I wanted to make sure that we keep going over, that a lot of people don't understand that the business improvement district or CIDMA is separate from the Gafford district. And the reason that it's separate is that CIDMA is funded through a special assessment that the property owners pay in the geographical area designated for the district. So that's why it's so wonderful to have so many people here and hopefully more people who are paying taxes to come down so that they can see what we're doing. You know, bids focus on place management. So how flowers, making sure the sidewalks are clean, making sure that we have good places to park, being able to help the city when like they install a new park mobile app, which is going to be so great because when you download the app, you can see where the empty parking spaces are. So before you actually even drive to where you're going, you can see where there's available parking, which I think is going to be a really great asset. We of course do promotions, streetscape improvements, business support, and creating strong downtown experience. So next slide, please. So this is a slide that has been in this presentation for a number of years, and it breaks down a little bit how a CIDMA works versus the Gafford district. And you can see the differences in the budget. Nate is our director of operations for CIDMA, which is why I'm turning everything over to him in just a minute. But you can see that there's a lot of bleed over and a lot of working together to see how the two organizations work to make sure that we're using our budgets to the best of our ability and giving the city the best return on investment, the district the best return on investment. So if anyone has any questions, please don't hesitate. I'm not going to redo the slide. That's one of my pet peeves. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm happy to have a conversation.
Okay. All right. So just before I jump off of this slide, one of the big reasons we put this here is just to remind everyone of the topics we will be talking about today are the CIDMA topics. So things like events and marketing, those are under the Gafford district. So there's a different board of directors, so we won't be getting into those today. We're really focusing on that left-hand side of the screen. So, a review of what we accomplished in 2025. So CIDMA oversees the Centerway parking garage, the Centerway pedestrian bridge, and then general beautification enhancements around the district. So within the parking garage, we provide the scope of work for improvements on the garage. This is a 3 to 4 year process. We'll be doing inspection, engineering inspection, and do some preventative maintenance on the garage. We did the large project last year that came far above our budget. Part of this now we're breaking up into smaller ones. The garage is in great shape. It is 40 years old this year, but for a garage this type, it is in excellent shape and there are no immediate concerns with it. We also repaired some damaged asphalt on the lower decks. We are adding an online payment option for our monthly passes that should be going live in the next bill. And then we also had some, small vandalism incidents. As you can see, broken doors or spray paint some of the stairwells. Center pedestrian bridge, this past year, we actually completed 2 debris removals since our last annual meeting. Which we do hopefully once a year, if possible, but depend on what we're given by Mother Nature. And then we repaired a bench that was, damaged on the bridge. Additionally, for enhancements, we purchased new benches and planters for streetscape enhancements through a New York Main Street grant, that will be going out on, the corner of Bridge Street and Park Lane, this spring. We completed upgrades on Centerway Stage AV system with a whole new sound system, the addition of a projector and screen that will be out, this summer, to enhance our offerings in the square. We got a lot of interest in using that. And then that was also part of a destination development grant for Explore Stu Bend. And we are also attached to Centerway Stage benches to improve snow storage and allow greater flexibility during square activations. And all of this is in addition to holiday lighting. This is a big part of what we did this year. We returned full lights to Market Street in the fall of 2025. The lights will next be removed in the spring of 2028. We continued oversight of Centerway trees, Centerway Square tree and Northside tree installations. We began adding some lighting elements to Northside tree trunks in addition to the lights on the perimeters of the building, and we plan to expand that in the future. We've also applied for another round of the destination development grants to hopefully fund some improvements to the infrastructure and additional decor elements for the Bridge Street, Fulton Street area. We should be hearing about that grant shortly, but we did build in funds into this year's budget. We'll talk about in a second for some of those improvements too. And then we have our regular work that we complete throughout the year: snow removals, leaf blowing, trash, cleaning, in general upkeep of all the areas within our responsibility. So that is our summary of the year right now, and I'm going to jump into our next year, 26-27 proposed budgets. We have 3 budgets we'll go over: the Centerway pedestrian bridge, the general enhancements budget, and then the Centerway parking garage. The Centerway bridge budget is some of the largest expenses, the debris removals. That is that miscellaneous other expense of $10,000. We had 1 this fiscal year and 1 last fiscal year. We are budgeting to have 1 every single year going forward, make sure that we have those funds available. Utility costs are continuing to rise, especially over the last month with the cold snap. We saw energy rates jump up, so that is a cost we are monitoring. And then for the first time since 2010, 2011, we are looking to increase the tax assessment on the bridge by $1,800 to get us more into if we don't have a debris removal, we're not drawing down on reserves, because even in a low expense year for the bridge, we typically have drawn on reserves. We're trying to get away from that. Moving on to the enhancements budget. This is the first time in 4 years this year an excess snow removal is required. The cost has increased significantly from the last time that was undertaken. So we are continuing to keep that $10,000 in the budget for snow removal. Knowing that is something we may need to use contingency funds if we ever get a year where more than one's required, just at the higher expenses is now. We have increased the management salary because we are shifting staffing roles internally and moving staff responsibilities around as we have the team has shifted over the last year. We have realized that we have more a set operations for the director of operations no longer has a role within the events department, so shifting salaries to account for that. We are increasing street enhancements this year is to cover the maintenance costs of the fully lit lights on Market Street. Our fundraising efforts have been successful, but when we get into maintenance next year, we don't want to run short on maintenance funds. There may not be the same enthusiasm for public fundraising, so we are building that expense into everything this year.
And knowing that if the fundraising is successful, thanks, Nate, because
Yeah.
I think that's done an amazing job with this. So if we have successful fundraising next year, what we'll do is we'll invest those funds into additional decorations. So, I'm hoping still to raise that money so that we can continue to enhance Bridge Street as, we need more snowflakes. It's good.
So there are funds allocated, as I mentioned, for work and equipment purchases, for the implementation of new, decor plan developed over the last year with downtown decorations. And we are focusing our first phase of that on the Bridge Street and Fulton Street corridor. And we are requesting an increase in the tax assessment that is towards those increased maintenance costs for the hollow, or the Mark Street trees. So that would be the enhancements budget. And finally, the center parking garage. One thing I want to make sure I know for the parking garage, even the self-funded garage did not receive any money from the assessment. So this is only long-term parking contracts and monthly parking fees that go into the revenues on the garage. So again, as I mentioned earlier, we're splitting the rehab projects to begin the second quarter of 26. It's going to bid in about a week and a half. That will be mostly steel painting this year. And then we'll do another inspection before we determine the next phase of work there. Contract service line this year is up because it will also have that engineering inspection in there. And I say this every time I get a chance, the garage is 40 years old. It's in great shape, but the typical lifespan of this style garage 50 years tends to be the average end of life. So we are in this point, we're gonna have to start looking hard at what is that plan for 10 years down the road, so that we can make sure we're lining up any funding needed, alternatives for parking and all of those pieces for all of the groups that utilize the garage. That is my presentation.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ray.
Is there any discussion from the board? Question? Okay. Do I have a motion that we move the CIDMA enhancement, Centerway Walking Bridge and Centerway Parking Garage budgets be approved and be approved as submitted? Thank you, Rick. Awesome. Thank you, Regina. All in favor of the budget motion as stated?
Aye.
Any opposed? Opposed it. Passes. Next, we have the public comment period, and so I wanted to welcome members of the public, and property owners, with make sure to share any public comments, and please share your ED. Okay. Quiet. It's a very quiet group. Okay. Oh, yeah.
So I just wanted to say, if nobody has anything for public comment, our office, thank you so much. To Corning, our office is now accessible, so you can come during business hours, come into the Barron Stand building, come up to the fourth floor. Nate and I are almost always there. So please don't hesitate if you have any questions or just want to pop in to say hi. We are available. Great.
That's a great point. Thank you. Yeah, that's great. Okay, so the setting of future meeting dates, I have proposed the following future CIDMA meeting dates, and I'll entertain a motion for approval. The fall meeting at 8:30 a.m. Thursday, October 8th, 2026 at the Hilton Garden Inn, 23 Riverside Drive. And then the 40th annual meeting at 8:30 a.m. on Thursday, March 11th, 2027 at the Radisson, 125 Denison Parkway. Do I have a motion to accept meeting dates? Thank you, Brian. Second? Thanks, Sean. All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, are there any reports of the officers? Seeing none, are there any reports of committees? I think we do a lot of committee reports with the budget and it's kind of a report. Is there any unfinished business? Hearing nothing further, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment. Do I have a motion to adjourn the annual meeting of members?
So moved.
Okay, Brian, do I have a second? Second, Courtney? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. This annual meeting of CIDMA is adjourned. Thank you all. Thank you.